You tell yourself, I am the ugly one. You tell yourself, my face and body are a problem that everyone can see. A third sentence waits behind them. If they look at me, they will laugh again. And your mind repeats it until you almost believe it is the only truth you have left. There was a time before those words grew so loud. When you ran in the schoolyard or laughed at something small, you did not stop to measure your face or your body. You were simply moving, breathing, playing, not weighing every feature in your mind. That same child is still inside this body, even if shame has tried to cover every part. Today your body carries these sentences in small, painful ways. Your shoulders fold inward as you walk through the school corridor. Your eyes search for the floor, for the corner of the desk, for anywhere that does not show your face. The light from the classroom window feels too bright on your skin, as if it exposes every feature they have mocked. In that same corridor, in that same thin light on your cheeks, I am already beside you. I walk at your pace, close enough to match the sound of your steps. Close enough that if you turned your head even a little, you would find me looking straight into your eyes without flinching. The hurt in you reaches for hiding, and I answer it by staying. My child, I hear every word you speak against yourself as clearly as if you whispered it into my ear. When they laughed at your weight, your skin, your height, your teeth, your hair, I did not agree with them for a single heartbeat. I did not join their circle. I stood in the place where no one stood for you, and I stayed there, even when you felt completely alone. You remember the day in the classroom when a joke about your body spread from one table to another. You kept your face still, your hands flat on the desk, your pen pressed too hard into the paper so it would not shake. You told yourself, do not react, do not show them anything. I watched the pain move like a wave through your chest, and I counted every silent breath you fought to take. I was near your desk in that room. I was nearer than the noise, nearer than the cruel smile caught on someone else's phone, while screens lit up with your image and comments grew like thorns. My gaze did not change. I saw the same child I formed with care, the same face I know in detail, the same heart that has longed just to be accepted for one ordinary day. When you stand in front of the mirror at home and pull at your clothes, examining angles and shadows, I am there in the quiet behind you. The harsh light of the bathroom makes every mark and every line on your skin look worse to your own eyes. You lean closer, hunting for proof that they are right about you. I stand just behind your shoulder, not to judge but to hold the truth steady while your thoughts spin. You say, if I were different, they would not treat me this way. I say to you, their cruelty does not define your worth. You say, if I avoid everyone, at least they cannot laugh at me again. I say, you deserve more than a life spent hiding from faces that do not know how precious you are to me. Your thoughts look for every reason to agree with shame. My voice keeps reaching for you with reasons to stay. Feel your hands right now, the way your fingers curl in toward your palms when you remember those moments. Feel the tightness in your throat when you imagine walking into a crowded room again. Even here, in the simple space where you are listening, I am close to that tension. I do not scold you for it. I place my steady care around it, like gentle hands around a shaking heart. I know the names they used, the pictures they shared, the way they made your body into a joke to fill their boredom. I know the way some adults around you failed to see what was happening, or saw and did not protect you. None of this is small to me. None of it is something I expect you to get over quickly. I treat every wound they left as something real that I am willing to tend. My beloved child, Your body has carried you through days that would have crushed others. Those same legs walked you back into school after nights of crying. Those same hands packed your bag, zipped your jacket, wiped your face in the morning so no one would see the red marks around your eyes. You have been braver than you admit, even when you felt only weak and broken. I do not ask you to suddenly love every part of your appearance. I ask you first to let me stand with you in front of the mirror, in the hallway, at the classroom door. When your mind says, "Everyone is judging me," let one quiet question rise. What if his eyes on me are different from theirs? In that question, I begin to loosen the grip of shame. Right now, as you notice the chair beneath you, the light of the screen or the window near you, let your shoulders drop a little. Let one breath come in that is not shaped by fear of how you look. You are not on a stage in front of me. You are not a problem I am trying to fix. You are my child whom I am learning with you to comfort in all the places you were not comforted before. I see the way you avoid cameras, the way you delete pictures of yourself, the way you choose seats at the edge of the room so fewer eyes will land on you. I see the quiet sadness when you scroll past images of people who seem effortlessly accepted and you tell yourself, "I will never look like that." I do not despise you for these thoughts. I come into them and speak another sentence. You are not a mistake in my hands. As these moments gather inside you, do not try to force yourself to feel beautiful or confident. It is enough, for now, that you hear this. I am not embarrassed to be seen with you. I am not ashamed to walk beside you in the hallway, to stand next to you in a crowded classroom, to be the one who holds your gaze when you are tempted to disappear. I am here, and I am not leaving you to carry this alone. When you think about going back into a crowded hallway, your body tenses before your mind finds the words. Your stomach tightens as if expecting a blow. Your feet remember the exact tiles where someone once pointed and laughed. Even if no one is speaking yet, you are already hearing old voices in your head, repeating the worst things they said about how you look. I am with you in that first tightening. I notice the way your hand pauses on the door handle, the way you adjust your clothes again and again, hoping they will somehow hide the parts you hate most. I do not roll my eyes at your fear. I stand close enough that my nearness rests on your skin like a quiet, steady warmth that does not depend on anyone's opinion. There were days when you planned your path through school like a battle map. You chose routes with fewer people. You timed your walk so you would arrive exactly when the bell rang, not a minute earlier. You learned which desks sat in the corner and which tables had a wall behind them so fewer faces could see you. You called this strategy being careful. I saw that it was also you trying to survive. My child, none of this makes you weak. It shows how much you have carried alone. While you were mapping exits and quiet corners, I was tracing another map inside you, a map of every place you were wounded and every place I intend to heal. You looked for shadows where you could disappear. I stayed as a light that would not leave, even in those shadows. You still remember certain laughs, like sharp sounds in your chest. A photo sent around the class at lunch. A comment about your body shouted across the room. The way someone mimicked how you walk or sit. These moments play again when you try to rest, when you stand in front of your wardrobe, when you hear your own footsteps echo down a hallway. They sink into your thoughts and tell you, this is who you are now, the one they made fun of. I do not dismiss those memories. I sit with you in them. When you recall the lunch table and hear the clatter of trays and the scrape of chairs, imagine me sitting at that same table with you. Not as another person staring, not as someone who jokes along, but as the one whose gaze does not harden when you look up. I watch the way you fold in on yourself, and I quietly hold in my heart every word you wish someone kind had said to you that day. At home, the fear follows you into small choices. You choose clothes more to hide than to express who you are. You avoid video calls. You turn your face slightly away when someone takes a group picture so your features will be less clear. You scroll through photos of yourself and zoom in on every angle you dislike. Each time, you judge yourself more harshly than any bully ever could. In those moments, I am there with a different way of seeing. When you stand in front of your wardrobe, I see the courage it takes just to get dressed and step out again. When you turn away from the camera, I see the ache of wanting to belong without being noticed, only to be mocked. When you stare at your own reflection, I see not a collection of flaws, but a whole person I have known since before anyone could name a single feature. You tell yourself, if I change enough, maybe they will stop. Diets forced by panic. Hours spent comparing your face to faces on a screen. Plans to shrink yourself, to speak less, to take up less space. I hear every anxious promise you make to yourself in the dark. I do not sign those promises. I do not ask you to erase yourself to earn safety. I am not the voice pushing you to disappear. Feel the weight of your body on the chair beneath you right now. Notice the contact of your feet with the floor and your back with the support behind you. You are not just a face for others to judge. You are a whole person sitting in a real room with real muscles, real breath, real tiredness. I am here in this simple room with you, not measuring your beauty, but holding your whole self. There are times you think, maybe I am overreacting, maybe it was not that bad. Then another memory appears and your heart sinks again. Listen to me. What you went through matters. Being laughed at, photographed, copied, and excluded because of how you look is not a small thing I expect you to shrug off. It is a wound I take seriously, a wound I have already begun to tend even before you knew how to name it. My beloved one, I have watched you do something quietly heroic. You kept showing up. You went back to that classroom. You sat through lessons with your heart pounding. You walked past groups who had hurt you. You got out of bed on mornings when your first thought was, I cannot face them again. Every time you did this, I was beside you, step for step, even when you felt completely abandoned. I want you to hear this clearly. Their words about your appearance are not my words. Their jokes do not reveal a hidden truth I secretly agree with. I do not look at you and see too much or not enough. I see someone who has been carrying other people's cruelty as if it were a mirror. I am gently turning that false mirror away. For now, you may still feel afraid to walk into certain rooms. That is all right. I am not impatient with your fear. I wait near the doorway with you. When your hand hesitates before you enter, you may whisper only this in your heart: stay with me. I am already doing that. I stay with you in the fluorescent light, in the crowded noise, in the quiet corner seat where you finally sit down and try to steady your breathing. While we continue walking through this together, I will show you more of how I see you. Beyond the comments and the photos, beyond the angles you fear. But for this moment, let this one truth rest in you like a hand laid gently on your shoulder. I am not ashamed to call you mine, exactly as you are, even in the memories that still make you want to hide. There are evenings when you sit with your phone in your hand and your whole body tightens before you open any app. Your stomach braces before your mind finds the words. You already know what waits there. Pictures where everyone seems effortless. Jokes that make light of bodies like yours. Comments about globes and fixing faces, as if being acceptable is a project you have failed. I am there in the glow of that screen on your face. I see how your shoulders curve forward as you scroll. I notice the way your thumb hesitates over your own picture, then moves quickly past it as if you cannot bear to look. I do not shame you for this. I understand how heavy it is to live in a world that keeps telling you, directly and indirectly, that you are wrong for looking the way you do. Sometimes you compare old photos of yourself with new ones and whisper, maybe if I had started changing earlier, it would be different now. You measure years, not in memories, but in how your appearance has shifted and how people have reacted. I watch you do this to yourself, frame after frame, and my heart is moved with a tenderness you rarely extend to your own reflection. My child, you are not a before and after story for others to judge. You are not a project they get to rate. You are a life I am walking with, moment by moment, breath by breath. When you stare at a picture and only see what you hate, I am looking at the same image and seeing the courage it took to keep going on the day that photo was taken. Think of the morning you almost stayed home because your chest felt too tight at the thought of walking into school. You sat on the edge of your bed, phone in your hand, trying to decide if you could pretend to be sick. The light from the window fell across your face and caught the tired shadows under your eyes. In that quiet, with no one else in the room, I sat on the floor near your feet and listened to the storm inside you. You whispered, "I cannot take another comment." At the same time, another voice inside you said, "You have to go. You cannot fall behind." You felt trapped between pain and pressure. I did not add to the pressure. I did not say, "Be strong or you disappoint me." I stayed with you in the ache. When you finally stood up, I stood with you. When you put your feet on the floor, I held your steps, even though your heart still pounded. You have learned to hide parts of yourself in more ways than one. You hide your body under clothes. You hide your opinions in conversations, afraid that speaking will draw attention to you. You hide your laugh, your excitement, your questions, in case people notice you and find something new to mock. Every time you swallow yourself down like this, a little more of you feels lost. I am not here to scold you for hiding. I know why you do it. But I want you to know this. There is more in you than the version you have compressed to survive. When you stay quiet, I still hear the thoughts you wanted to share. When you sit small in your chair, I still see the space in the world that your presence was meant to fill. When you hold back your smile, I still remember every moment it reached your eyes when you were younger and unafraid. You may ask, if you care so much, why did you let them hurt me in the first place? I hear that question even when you never say it out loud. I do not rush past it. I do not answer with simple phrases that ignore what you went through. Suffering and cruelty grieve me more deeply than you know. I will spend a long time with you if you allow it, untangling the lie that their behavior means I abandoned you or that you deserved their words. For now, let us begin here. Their choice to mock your appearance speaks about their hearts, not your worth. It reveals their fear, their insecurity, their hunger to feel powerful for a moment. It reveals how broken this world is in the way it talks about bodies. It does not reveal a hidden verdict from me about you. Feel your breathing for a moment. Notice the air moving in and out of your chest. Notice the way your ribs rise and fall. This is your body doing something quietly faithful for you. even when you do not like how it looks from the outside. Every breath is a small sign that I have not let go of you. I keep giving you life, not as a careless routine, but as a daily choosing of you. You have told yourself, if I were beautiful in the way they approve, I would be easier to love. Hear me clearly. My love for you has never waited for a certain shape, a certain skin, a certain number on a scale, or a certain angle in a picture. I did not start loving you when you began trying to change. I loved you when you did not know where to even begin. I loved you before they learned to use your body as a weapon against your heart. Think of one moment when you laughed honestly in the past few months, maybe with someone you trust, a little or alone while watching something that made you forget yourself for a second. In that moment, you were not thinking, how do I look? You were simply there, alive, present, open. I was close to that laugh. I was close to the way your eyes lit up. That glimpse is closer to who you are in my eyes than any frozen image covered in comments. My beloved one, there are gifts in you that bullying has tried to bury. A way you notice the quiet suffering of others. A gentleness when someone else is left out. A deep sensitivity to unfairness. You learned these not from comfort but from pain. I do not celebrate the pain, but I do see the compassion it has carved in you. That compassion is part of your beauty, whether or not any mirror ever reflects it. As you sit here now in a simple, familiar space, with a desk in front of you and the faint hum of a fan or a distant noise in the background, I am near to you. Not as a distant idea, but as a presence that knows the exact weight of your history. I see the shape of your shoulders, the way you hold your jaw, the lines of tension in your brow. I hold all of that gently. I am not impatient for you to recover quickly from your fear of being seen. This healing will take time, and I am not in a hurry with you. You do not need to perform confidence. You do not need to stand in front of the world and shout that you love yourself. For this moment, it is enough that you let one small thought enter. Maybe the way he sees me is not the same as the way they did. Let that thought sit beside your usual self. Let it be a quiet guest that I have invited into your mind. I will keep walking with you into the places where you were laughed at. I will keep standing beside mirrors you dread. I will keep tracing, with patience, every line of the story that has told you your body is the enemy. Over time, I will say more, reveal more, and restore more. Yet even before anything changes in how you feel, I want you to know this. You have never once been ugly to me. There are days when you sit in a classroom and feel yourself shrinking, even when no one is speaking. A group begins to whisper and laugh near the back, and your heart assumes it must be about you. A phone is held up, a picture is shown, and even if you cannot see it clearly, your body reacts as if your own face were on that screen again. I see the way your shoulders pull inward. I notice how you stare at your notebook, pretending to write so you will not have to risk meeting anyone's eyes. I am close enough to feel the heat in your cheeks and the tightness in your throat. I do not judge you for this reaction. I know it was learned through many small wounds. Over time, you began to do something the bullies could not fully do on their own. You started to agree with them. You took their words and carved them into your own mind. I am the ugly one. I am the joke. I ruin every picture. You began to speak to yourself with a cruelty you would never use on another person who was hurting. Listen to me. I have never once used those words about you. Not in anger, not in disappointment, not in silence. When those sentences rise inside you, they do not come from my heart. They are echoes of a broken world that has mistaken your body for a target instead of a home for a soul I love. Remember a time when a teacher asked the class a question and you knew the answer. Your mind leaped forward. Your hand almost did. Then a thought came, sharp and fast. If I speak, they will all look at me. Your hand stayed down. Someone else answered. The moment passed, but a quieter loss remained. A part of you that wanted to be seen for your mind was pulled back by fear of how your face or body would be judged. I was in that moment with you. I saw the brightness in you that wanted to rise. I felt the way you swallowed it down. I did not scold you. I did not say, "Why did you not speak?" I simply stayed beside the part of you that longed to be valued for more than how you look. That longing is holy to me. It is a sign of the truth I am already growing in you, that you were made for more than being stared at and rated. At home, you may hear comments that cut even when they are passed off as jokes or advice. A remark about eating less. A question about why you do not dress a certain way. A comparison to someone in the family who is praised for their looks. The words might be wrapped in concern, but they land in the same old bruise. When you hear those comments, I hear them too. I stand in the same room, near the same table or doorway. I see how your eyes drop to the floor or to your hands. I know how your heart races as you try to decide whether to laugh it off, argue, or stay silent. In that inner confusion, I am not siding with the voice that makes you smaller. I stand with the part of you that knows something is wrong with this way of talking about you. There are also moments when you are completely alone with a mirror. No one is messaging you. No one is in the room. It is just you, the glass, and an old habit of scanning for flaws. You lean close, then pull back. You turn your head to the side. You check your profile, your skin, your shape. Sometimes you shift the light or change your angle as if you are searching for proof that their words are true. Each time your eyes land on a feature, a small verdict is given inside. Bad. Too much. Not enough. In that private space, I am not standing behind you with a harsher list. I am standing beside you, looking at the same reflection with a different gaze. I do not ignore the parts you find difficult to accept, but I do not call them shameful. I see the story behind every line and every scar and every form. Nights of crying yourself to sleep. Days of forcing yourself to show up. Years of carrying words that were never yours to carry. You have often believed that if I really saw you, I would agree with the harshest opinions spoken about your body. Hear me clearly. I have seen you more completely than anyone ever will, and my response has always been steady love. I see where you have been hurt. I see the ways you have hurt yourself with your own words. I come closer, not further away. Think about someone else you know who has been mocked or left out because of how they look. Notice how quickly your heart goes out to them. You feel anger on their behalf. You want them to know they deserve kindness. You wish you could protect them. That instinct in you is a reflection of my own heart. The compassion you feel for them is the same compassion I feel for you, multiplied beyond your understanding. If you can look at another hurting person and say, they do not deserve to be treated that way, then allow the possibility that I am saying the same about you. I am not neutral about your pain. I am not standing off to the side, watching to see how you cope. I am here, involved, moved, staying. Feel again the chair beneath you and the way your back rests against it. Notice one small sound in the room, maybe the hum of a fan, a distant voice, or the rustle of fabric when you shift. These details are not small to me. They are part of the real life you are living in this very moment. I am inside this moment with you, not in some distant, perfect version of you that you think I prefer. My beloved one, there is a name you have been carrying for yourself that I never gave you. Names like ugly, disgusting, the one who ruins photos, the one people pretend not to see. These are not names from my mouth. When I look at you, I call you mine. I call you beloved. I call you the one who keeps getting back up even when it hurts. We will not erase the past by pretending it did not happen. We will not fix everything in a single day, but we are already doing something important together. We are separating what they said from who you are. We are learning to hear the difference between the echo of their laughter and the sound of my voice. You do not have to fully believe me yet. It is enough that, somewhere inside, you allow yourself to wonder, what if his words about me are truer than theirs? Let that question sit gently in your chest. Let it breathe with you. I will stay here, in this same room, in this same life, repeating my answer in 100 quiet ways until your heart can begin to receive it. There is something you rarely notice about yourself. Even while you carry the weight of insults about your appearance, you pay close attention to the room. When someone else is left out, your heart reacts. When a classmate walks in with their head down, you see it. When a person at the edge of the group hovers near the doorway, you feel a pull toward them. I see that too. I see the way your eyes move around the space, not to judge but to scan for who might be in pain. You do this partly because you know what it feels like to be the one who is laughed at or ignored. Pain has sharpened your sensitivity. What others dismiss as small social moments, you experience as something serious. You never wanted anyone to feel what you have felt. There was a day when you noticed someone sitting alone, their shoulders hunched, eyes fixed on their phone. You hesitated for a second. You wondered if you should say anything, if your presence would help or make it awkward. Your heart beat faster while you decided. In the end, you chose a small kindness. You moved a little closer than usual. You offered a quiet comment about the class or the weather. You let your eyes meet theirs for a moment with a look that said, "I see you." Later, you told yourself it was nothing. I did not think it was nothing. I sat with that person as they felt invisible. I watched your steps bring you closer. I felt the way that small act of courage pushed back against the lie that you are only a target. In that moment, you were living out a part of who you really are, someone who refuses to let others sit in the same isolation that has hurt you so deeply. You often talk to yourself as if you are only the sum of your perceived flaws. You list everything you believe is wrong with your body. You replay memories of laughter and whispers. You hold up a harsh picture of yourself and call it the whole truth. Yet when I look at you, I see a much wider frame. I see the way you have learned to notice the quiet details others miss, the tremor in someone's voice, the way a friend's smile does not quite reach their eyes, the difference between forced laughter and real joy. I see the patience you show when someone stumbles over words or feels out of place. These are not small personality quirks. They are evidence of a heart that understands suffering and longs to protect others from it. My child, you have a tenderness that was not destroyed by what you went through. It may be hidden under layers of self-criticism, but it is still here. You care about whether people feel safe. You care about whether they are mocked. You care about whether they are seen for more than how they look. This is part of the beauty I see in you. Think about the times you have listened to a friend talk about their struggles and you felt anger toward anyone who hurt them. You were willing to sit in silence just so they would not be alone. You stayed on a call longer than you planned so they would not have to cry by themselves. You sent a simple message that said, "I am here," even when you doubted your own worth. You did not demand that they change their body to deserve kindness. Somewhere inside, you already know that no one should have to earn basic respect through appearance. The way you treat others in their pain is a reflection of how I long for you to treat yourself. When you tell a friend, "You do not deserve to be talked to like that," I am whispering the same sentence to your heart. When you think, "They are more than what people see," I am thinking that about you. When you feel protective over someone else's dignity, know that I am fiercely protective over yours. There is a fear in you that if you ever begin to accept yourself, you will become proud or stop trying to grow. Hear me. Acceptance and growth are not enemies. When I call you beloved, I am not saying, "Stay stuck in every hurt." I am saying, "You are safe enough with me to heal." Healing does not mean pretending the bullying never happened. It means slowly learning to live without their words as your inner law. Feel your hands where they rest right now, maybe on your lap or on a table. Notice their warmth and the slight weight of your fingers against each other. These hands have held textbooks, phones, and the edges of desks during difficult days. They have wiped tears from your own face in hurried motions so no one would see. They have also been hands that passed a tissue to someone else, that typed messages of support, that reached out when you wanted to pull away. I am not only interested in changing how you look at yourself in the mirror. I am interested in the story that flows from your life. The story of someone who knows what it is to be humiliated and still chooses kindness. The story of someone who has walked through crowded hallways, feeling like a target, and slowly learns to stand, knowing they are mine. You may not see it yet, but there will be people whose hearts recognize something in you. They will not be drawn to you because you fit a narrow image of beauty. They will be drawn because you feel safe, because your presence does not judge them, because your eyes carry understanding. This is not pressure on you to become a savior. You are not called to fix everyone. Yet your story, even now, is growing a depth that shallow comfort can never reach. You sometimes imagine a future where you are finally acceptable according to the standards that hurt you. A version of yourself that would never be mocked, only admired. You think that version is the one I am waiting for. It is not. I am walking with the real you who sits here now. The one whose heart still flinches when a notification pops up. The one who chooses clothes in the morning with a mixture of fear and hope. The one who carries both deep wounds and deep compassion. My beloved one, there is a strength in you that does not look like the strength this world praises. It is the strength of showing up for class when you would rather hide. The strength of being gentle when you have received harshness. The strength of staying soft when your pain could have made you cruel. I honor that strength. I call it precious. We are still learning how to name who you are. There are lies to uncover and memories to sit with. There are rooms that still feel unsafe to walk into. Yet already, in this very moment, I see you as more than a wounded target. I see you as someone being quietly reshaped into a person who will carry my kindness into places that once only held mockery. You do not need to know exactly how that will look. You do not need to design a grand plan. For now, it is enough to know this. Every time you choose not to repeat cruelty to yourself, every time you allow even a small softness toward your own reflection, every time you treat another hurting person with the respect you were denied, you are walking with me. As you listen to these words in your room, With the familiar objects around you and the same body you woke up in this morning, I am here. I place no condition on my nearness. I do not wait until you feel beautiful. I stay with you as you are, and I will keep speaking your true name gently and repeatedly until the noise of their words begins to fade. There are mornings now when you stand in front of your closet a little differently. The old fear is still there, whispering that every choice of clothing is a test you are bound to fail. Yet somewhere underneath, another thought has started to appear. It is quiet and unsure, but present. Maybe I do not have to win their approval with this outfit. Maybe surviving the day is not the only measure of success. I am with you in that small shift. I see you pause with a shirt in your hands, remembering a comment someone made the last time you wore something similar. I feel the way your stomach tightens as you imagine walking through the hallway again. I also notice the courage it takes to choose what feels a little more like yourself instead of only what you think will hide you. Sometimes you still reach for the safest option, the one that draws the least attention. That does not make you weak. It means your body remembers pain and is trying to protect you. When that happens, I do not roll my eyes or withdraw my presence. I stay near you at the mirror, near your hands as they smooth the fabric, near your heart as it beats faster before you open the door. On other days, you take a small risk, a color you like, a shape that feels more honest. You may not feel confident in it, but for a moment you feel a little less like you are disappearing. That small act matters to me, not because of style, but because it comes from a place where you are allowing yourself to exist instead of only hiding. In the hallway, you still hear laughter that makes your body react. Your shoulders may tense and your steps may quicken. The old thoughts try to crowd in. They are laughing at me. Of course they are. I knew this would happen. Yet now, alongside those sentences, there is another voice that has begun to learn my tone. I do not know what they are laughing at, but I know what he has called me. Even if they are laughing at me, that laughter is not his verdict. These new lines may feel weak at first, like a candle in a strong wind. Still, they exist. I am the one who lit them, and I will not let them go out. There will be days when the old shame feels louder again. A careless comment, a picture taken without your consent, a rumor, a glance you interpret as disgust. On those days, you may feel as if you have gone backwards, as if everything we have been building together has collapsed. Then there will be other days when you notice that you walked down a hallway, or joined a call and your heart did not race as much as before. Both kinds of days are part of the same healing. When the heavy day comes, remember this. Healing is not a straight line. It is more like a path where you sometimes step forward, sometimes pause, sometimes step back to catch your breath. I am not grading you on how fast you stop hurting. I am watching how bravely you keep allowing me into the places that hurt. Imagine coming home after a hard day, dropping your bag on the floor, and collapsing onto your bed without turning on the light. You stare at the ceiling or at the wall. The familiar thoughts start to march through your mind. I am tired of this. I will never be free from what they did. Maybe I should just stop trying to show up. In that darkness, I lie down beside the bed in your mind and let silence sit with us for a while. I am not impatient for you to instantly reframe everything. I know what it costs you to keep walking into spaces that have not been kind. I am proud of every step you have taken that no one else will ever see. After a time, when your breathing softens slightly, I begin to remind you of things you have already heard from me. How I have never used their words about your body. how I see your tenderness toward others, how your worth is not a fragile number that rises or falls with opinions and images. I bring these truths back not as slogans, but as steady, familiar lights in the same room where you are lying. There may be evenings when you decide to leave your camera off in a video call because you are too tired to manage how you look on screen. I understand that choice. It does not disappoint me. I do not require you to show your face to everyone in order to prove your courage. At the same time, there will be small moments when you feel just brave enough to let your face be seen by someone you trust a little more. When that happens, I am very near to your heart. The first time you do this, your mind may scan your own image relentlessly, checking angles and searching for flaws. Yet the person on the other side might simply talk to you like a human being. They might laugh at something you say. They might look into your eyes through the screen and see more than the insecurities you are focused on. In that exchange, I am quietly teaching your nervous system a new possibility. Being seen does not always equal being harmed. Think also of the way you have begun to question certain jokes in your own mind. There was a time when you repeated cruel comments about yourself as if they were funny, trying to get ahead of anyone else saying them. Now some of those lines taste bitter when they reach your tongue. You feel a small resistance. You think, if a friend said this about themselves, I would be sad for them. That sadness is my compassion moving inside you. When you catch yourself about to make a joke that cuts into your own dignity and you choose to stay quiet instead, I notice. It may seem like a tiny decision, but it is a turn in the story. It is you choosing not to partner with the same cruelty that hurt you. Every time you do this, you are agreeing, even just a little, with how I see you. As you sit in your room now, feel the weight of your body supported by the chair or the bed. Notice the way the air rests on your skin and the way your chest rises and falls. This body has been the focus of so much criticism and fear, yet it has carried you through every day you thought you could not endure. I honor that. I am not embarrassed by you. I am not waiting for a different version. My beloved one, you may not be ready to say, I like myself. That is all right. For now, let us start with something smaller and truer. He does not hate me. He is not ashamed of me. He does not speak to me the way they did. Let these sentences touch your mind gently, even if you cannot hold them for long. I will keep repeating them. You might wonder what it would look like to live more fully from my view of you. You may fear that stepping into that would suddenly change everything and overwhelm you. Hear me. I move with you at a pace that honors your nervous system, not at the speed of others' expectations. I would rather take a long, honest journey with you than rush you into a mask of confidence that hides new layers of pain. We are walking through the same spaces where you were mocked, but something is already different. I am not only beside you, I am teaching your heart to notice my gaze and to let it matter. The story is not finished. There are still hallways you dread, mirrors you avoid, and photos you delete quickly. Yet even there, a quiet, persistent truth is growing. You are mine, and you are not a mistake. Hold this for a moment in whatever way you can. Your life is not defined by the cruelest things that have been said about your appearance. Those words belong to some of the chapters, not to the title. I am still writing with you, and I am patient with every page. You have carried so many questions in your chest for so long. Was it my fault that they chose me as a target? If I had looked different, would they have treated me better? Did I somehow invite this by being the way I am? These questions have worked their way into quiet moments, into showers, into bus rides, into nights when you stare at the ceiling in the dark. Hear me now in this same kind of quiet. It was not your fault that they decided to be cruel. Their choice to mock, to whisper, to send messages, to share images without your consent was not a judgment from heaven. It was a wound from broken hearts and a broken culture. I saw every moment, and never once did I agree with what they did. Think back to a day when you walked through the school gate and felt your body tense as you stepped onto the grounds. The concrete under your shoes, the weight of your bag on your shoulder, the sound of other students' voices echoing across the yard. You may have felt as if you were walking into a place where a verdict had already been written over you. Here, I am the one they laugh at. I walked with you through that gate. My steps were beside yours, even when you could not feel me. When you lowered your gaze to avoid eye contact, I did not look away from you. When you counted the minutes until you could go home and be out of sight, I counted every breath you took and held you in my heart. There have been times when you wished you could trade your face or your body for someone else's, even for a day, just to know what it feels like not to be noticed in that way. You imagined slipping into a different form, like putting on a costume, and you wondered if life would finally feel safe. When those thoughts rose, I did not shame you for having them. I understood the longing beneath them, the longing to be treated like a person instead of a target. I want you to hear this clearly. I did not make a mistake when I made you. I did not overlook something or assemble you from leftover pieces. The features you struggle with are not proof that I love you less. They are part of a body that has carried a very heavy story and is still here. As you sit in your room now, notice one small detail around you. Maybe it is the soft glow of a screen, the pattern on your blanket, the quiet mess on your desk, or the way light from outside touches one corner of the wall. This is the world where your life actually happens, not an edited image and not a filtered frame. It is here, in this exact setting, that I am blessing you. We have been walking together through classrooms, hallways, family rooms, mirrors, beds in the dark, and small acts of kindness you have shown to others. None of those scenes were pointless. They are pieces of a larger picture. You have been deeply wounded, yet you have not become the cruelty that hurt you. You still long for others to be safe. You still notice who is in pain. That is no small thing. My child, I do not measure your beauty by how easy it is for you to accept your own reflection. I see beauty in the way you keep showing up, even when you feel like hiding. I see it in the way you quietly defend others in your heart. I see it in the way you are slowly learning not to join in when people tear themselves or others down. There will still be days when the mirror feels harsh, when a photo catches you off guard, when a passing comment stings more than it should. On those days, I do not demand that you pretend it does not hurt. I ask only this: let my voice be present in the room with that pain. Let me stand beside you at the mirror. Let me sit on the bed when you fall back onto it and sigh. Let me walk with you down the hallway where the laughter echoes. You may wonder what difference my presence makes when the world around you does not instantly change. This is part of the mystery. I often begin by changing the way you carry yourself inside the same circumstances. Slowly, I teach your heart to recognize that you are not alone, not abandoned, and not defined by the worst things others have said. Over time, this shifts how you breathe, how you speak to yourself, and how you see others. There will be people in your future who need exactly the kind of understanding you are growing in now. A younger student who feels like the strange-looking one at school. A friend whose body is commented on in group chats. Someone who sits on the edge of a room wondering if they should disappear. When you stand or sit near them, you will not need perfect words. Your presence, shaped by what you have survived with me, will already say something true. You are not a joke. You are not alone. You are not a problem to fix. I am not using your suffering as a test to see if you are strong enough. I am staying with you in it and bringing good things out of what others meant for harm. That does not make what happened right. It means I refuse to let their cruelty have the final word over your life. Feel again your breath as it moves in and out. Feel the way the air enters your lungs, the way your chest rises, the way your body settles a little more as you pay attention. Each breath is a sign that your story is still unfolding. You are not frozen in the worst moments. You are here in this moment, hearing me speak to you. My beloved one, I bless the parts of you that you still struggle to look at. I bless the curve of your face, the shape of your body, the scars and marks that tell of where you have been. I do not bless the words that were thrown at you. I bless the person who stood under them and is still standing. I bless your sensitivity, your anger at injustice, and your longing to make spaces kinder than the rooms you have known. I bless your tomorrow, the light that will come through your window, the clothes you will choose with trembling hands, the journey to school or work or wherever you must go. I will walk with you through the doorway. I will stay with you in the room. When you feel your shoulders beginning to curl inward, remember that my hand is gentle on your back, steadying you from within. You do not have to become fearless to be close to me. You do not have to love your reflection before I call you mine. I am already here in the middle of your fear and weariness, speaking a name over you that the bullies cannot erase. So as this message settles into a quieter place inside you, hear this as clearly as you can. You are not the ugly one, the joke, the mistake, the extra. You are my precious one. You are the one I have watched over in every hallway, every classroom, every mirror, every darkened room where you thought no one saw you cry. Rest now in this. I am not going anywhere. When the voices of shame rise again, I will be here, repeating my truth as many times as needed. When you forget, I will remind you. When you fall back into old self-criticism, I will lift your gaze gently, not with anger, but with patience. I bless you. I bless your body. I bless your face. I bless your story so far and the chapters yet to be written. Walk forward knowing this. You are deeply and unchangeably loved, and nothing they have said about your appearance can cancel what I have spoken over you. You are mine, and I delight in you. Stay here with me for a moment longer. Let the room be as it is. Let your posture be as it is. You do not have to sit straighter, speak better, or find the perfect response to what you have heard. You are allowed to simply be. Feel the surface that carries your weight, a chair, a bed, or the floor beneath your feet. Notice how it does not argue with your shape. It does not ask you to become smaller before it is willing to hold you. In a far deeper way, I am like this toward you. I am steady under your life. I do not withdraw when you lean your full weight on me. Breathe in once more, slowly. Feel the air as it moves through your nose, fills your lungs, and then leaves again. Your breath does not have to be elegant. It only has to be honest. Every rise and fall is a reminder that your story continues beyond the words they used about your appearance. There is a part of you that still waits for me to change your reflection before you can relax. I understand that longing. Yet hear this clearly again in this quiet. My love for you is not postponed until you meet some standard. I am not holding a distant future version of you in my arms while merely tolerating who you are now. I am embracing you as you sit here in this very body. Think of the places we have walked through together in these words. The noisy classroom, the harsh hallway, the mirror that felt like an enemy, the bed where you arrived exhausted and wordless at the end of the day. Now imagine a small, steady thread of light running through all those scenes and connecting them to this very moment. That thread is my presence. I am not asking you to pretend that what happened to you was small. I am not asking you to be grateful for cruelty. I am asking you to let one more truth stand beside those memories. The truth that I was there, that I did not agree with the harm, and that I have never changed my mind about your worth. If you can place one hand over your chest for a moment, feel the warmth of your own palm and the gentle movement beneath it. This is the life I have guarded day after day. This is the heart I have watched when you cried silently in bathrooms, behind closed doors and under blankets. When you wished you could disappear, I was holding on to you. You do not have to force yourself to say large declarations. For now, let small, simple lines be enough. You might whisper, even only inside your thoughts, "He does not hate me." You might add, "He is not ashamed to be near me." If you cannot say more than that today, it is still a holy beginning. Look quietly around your room, the familiar objects, the marks on the wall, the window, even if the view feels ordinary. I am here in this exact place, not waiting for you at some distant, perfect version of your life. When you close your eyes after this, I will be the same. When you open them again tomorrow, I will be the same. My precious one, I am not in a hurry with you. Healing does not have to race. Confidence does not have to arrive all at once. Even if you wake tomorrow and feel the old heaviness, it will not cancel what I have spoken. I will say it again. I will walk the same path with you again. I am patient with the parts of you that are slow to trust. So let this be the quiet note that lingers after everything else. You are not a mistake. You are not the sum of insults, comments, and stares. You are mine. I am here in this room, in this breath, in this body that you find so hard to befriend. I am blessing you now. Rest, beloved. Let your shoulders loosen a little. Let your jaw soften. Let your thoughts move more slowly. Whether you feel much or feel almost nothing, I am holding you. As you move from this moment into whatever comes next, carry this one certainty with you like a small, steady light inside your chest. You are deeply loved, and I am not leaving.